from Ohio. Yaturo, where are you chiming in from? As well as Ken. Who else? Where are you chiming in from? Just put in there where you are. In the meantime, we definitely like to share our video, a video that was homegrown, made behind the scenes. We enjoy doing things behind the scenes to bring you the most latest and up to date information. And we like to have fun with it along the way as well. So we get a kick out of putting together different questions and topics and videos, as well, just because we can. And we like to get together and have fun doing that as well. In the meantime, I like to know who else is out there for the very first time. So far I haven't seen any first. So if this is your first time, go ahead and put a one as well. And here is our feel free to dance along. It is our own homegrown video. I tell you, it never gets old. Valerie Hatch, welcome for your first time. Glad you made it. Enjoy the music. Yes, how far will you go to get the power, the juice, the information? All right, everybody, let's get this party started. So, I'm going to introduce to you the Juice crew, and that would be Jerry and James and Bobby and Teresa and myself as well. So, today I am excited to introduce a powerhouse in the world of real estate investment. He has been in the real estate game since the 1990s, and over the years, he's developed a proven, battle tested strategy for evaluating and acquiring properties with speed and precision. His specialty, you say? Well, foreclosures and bank foreclosures auctions. Oh boy. Where others see risk, he sees opportunity. But that is not all. He also buys properties straight off the retail market using a savvy technique he calls driving for dollars. With his signature easy move strategy, he helps homeowners walk away with as much cash as possible, all while creating a win win outcome that fuels his successful fix and flip business as well. He has his team consistently turning distressed properties into high profile deals, often outperforming traditional investors in both speed and return. So buckle up, everybody, because he is about to drop some serious gems on how to spot, seize, and scale profitable real estate deals in any market. Let's put our hands together and welcome to the show, John McCants. Woo woo! Big
Wow.
John.
Thank you, LaShawn. That's a great introduction. Man,
You're
I'm going
welcome.
to listen. I hope I get a recording so I can hear it.
Nice.
You guys,
Well,
you're all hearing me? Yeah, cool. Well,
cheers.
hey, thank you for everybody for being here. Welcome to everybody that's on the show today. Also, just want to thank James, Bobby. There was another person in there too besides LaShawn. I don't know. Latifa, is that right? Yeah. So, all you guys reaching out to me and asking me to come on and be on your show. So, thank you guys a bunch. The Juice Hour. What's the Juice Hour going to be about? Well, the Juice Show, but the Juice Hour, what's it going to be about?
It's the
Um,
juice, baby. It is the
it's the
juice.
juice. Yeah, well, it's just great coffee this morning, but it could be something else. But
Hey guys, so I want to kind of set this stage for who you guys are about to hear from today, guys. Like like I told him when we first talked that I was gonna ask this question. So he was at an auction doing his thing, what he normally does, right? And so he gets a call from our very own CEO of this company because this CEO says, "Man, this guy is out here crushing it. I gotta have him in here training you guys on how to go out and crush it." So he gives John a call, and I'm gonna let you share it, John. Please come on and tell us how did that call
you
go?
got it, Jerry. Well, no, that is it, it's a hair-raising experience, I suppose, especially when I get to say it in front of him. But yeah, Bob Snyder's the owner of Renatus, and his educational system really changed how I did what I did. And I didn't realize what I was doing necessarily, where I would catch somebody's eye. You know, here I am on a podcast with you guys. Even now today, people are saying, "Come on, John, let's talk." But Bob Snyder heard through the ranks that this young guy at that time, I'm still a young guy, was just knocking it out of the park, that he had been in foreclosures, doing good, but he heard one thing in one of our classes and took it to a whole nother level. And so Bob Snyder said, I want to talk to this guy. So every Friday, 10 o'clock, I'm at the Snohomish County Courthouse in Everett, Washington. I currently live in Phoenix. And I'm bidding on houses. Me and, I got my phone. I'm with somebody else at a different auction down in Seattle, and it's my partner. And I'm bidding on a house. My buddy Ron's bidding on a house, and the phone rings. And what's so cool about the group here? You can get all our phone numbers. You can get the CEO's phone number. I had Bob Snyder's phone number. I look at my phone and it's not Ron. Ron's on the other line. It's Bob Snyder from Renatus. What the heck's he calling me for? Doesn't he realize I'm buying a house? And so I picked up. I said, "Hey, Bob, it's John. I'm honored you're calling me." And he goes, "Well, John, I heard about what you're doing." I said, "Hey, Bob, I hate to interrupt you, but I'm buying a house. I'm really busy right now. I'll call you back." And I hung up on Bob Snyder. And I looked at myself inside of myself and said, I just hung up on Bob Snyder. Who in the heck hangs up on Bob Snyder? And so I didn't even have enough thoughts or whatever that day to call him back for some reason. We bought a house at that day for the pastor of my church for $521,000. Pastor never had a house before that he's owned, and when he moved, he didn't write a check because a lot of pastors go plant churches and they're not there with their people long enough for the real estate prices to go up. So Pastor Terry years later said, "John, this is the first house of like seven or eight that I've ever sold, bought and sold, that I got a check afterwards. So thank you." But the following Monday, I called Bob, and we talked. And he goes, "John, I knew you were the guy to teach my auctions class, because anybody that hangs up on me because they're too busy buying real estate must mean he's doing the deal." And I said, "Well, Bob, I did." And I told him the pastor story. And so, yeah, Jerry, it was a pretty cool experience. And it was, I had to. I was buying a house. I'm sorry. Could have been a live president or a dead president or a wannabe president. I'm hanging up on you, boy, girl. So, I'm buying a house.
Nice. So yeah, I just thought that story for me, y'all, resonated because I've met Bob Snyder as well, and just the ambiance, like I would never like think about like. But anywho, so yeah, John. So kind of take us back. You started doing this real estate thing like in the '90s. What was it like? Like what was the strategy for you then, and what kind of real estate were you actually doing back in the day?
Absolutely, because it hasn't really changed, because I still go after foreclosures, but it really has changed. Okay, so I'll give you the hour. What I got. I'm going to talk to you about my story, and that's what you're asking me right now, Jerry. And
Yes.
it's important to know the presenter's story, but it's really more important to know your story. I've gone to a lot of classes, and I say, "Come on, dude, you've been talking about your story for 45 minutes. I wanted to learn how to wholesale, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes of my story. It's not what we're here for." But the point of it is that my story pushed me forward. I didn't like my job. I was decent at it. I didn't like being an insurance agent. I wanted to be something else. So I went to a real estate seminar. with the guy at the time, Mr. Nothing Down. His name is Robert Allen. Good book, a lot of stuff out there. And I went to that class, and 5 days later, after it's over, I said, I can do that. I, I'm going. And so I went after that class, and the next day of Monday, where do you have to go back to? Your job. I had to go back to that four-letter work word, and I went and quit my job. I literally knew I wanted to do real estate that bad. I've been a real estate insurance agent for 8, 9 years. So anyway, so that's what happened back then, is that I wanted real estate. So here's the story. I had seen other people, my commercial fishermen friends from Seattle. They went crab fishing, salmon fishing, came back with loads of money. Some of them spent it all on cars and things, but a lot of them, or several of them, Jimmy Olsen for sure, Doug Malavia, another one, the Christian brothers, they came back and bought real estate. Then Doug Malavia, another guy, and his dad was an attorney in town, and I graduated from high school with him. Well, he became a contractor and started doing real estate. And so I was aware that real estate was cool. I was an insurance agent insuring people's homes, businesses, cars, small businesses. And I interviewed some of these people for their insurance contracts and realized, the really wealthier people and or happier people are the ones that own something. They own real estate. And so it was just a seed in me. I think we all probably have it. There's a few people in my life that just didn't ever want to own real estate. They didn't want the responsibility. Heidi, the cheerleader in high school, never, I think she bought a house in her 50s. And I said, Heidi, what would happen if you had bought that in your 30s? She goes, well, I'd probably be a millionaire. And I go, yeah. But, she just didn't want the responsibility, right? So the story that I had was I wanted real estate, didn't like my job, and I wanted to go somewhere. All right, I never know what I'm going to talk about in foreclosures, but I've been carrying this around. James has seen it before, but I've been carrying this little thing around with me for years. You can read it. But the definition of commitment is doing the thing that you said you'd do long after the feeling in which you said it left you. Okay? So that's it. I've been doing real estate since the 90s. I'm sick and tired of real estate, to be honest with you, sometimes, but I don't care. I was more sick and tired of being an insurance agent. And so I had a goal at that time, and my story's almost over here, guys, you know, to become financially free. And so my goal was, and this is a big lesson for me, was to get 10 houses free and clear worth $100,000 each. I know that kind of seems absurd these days. Cars cost that much, trucks, but and be worth $1 million and have them each rent for 1,000. So in other words, I'd be bringing in 10 grand a month, be worth $1 million, and there I was. And so that was a numbers game, but I later really realized it's not a numbers game. It's a feeling. And so I stole this from somebody else and I tweaked it. But financial success, and I'll hold this up, it's not that numbers game. What does it mean? It's to do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, with whomever I want to do it, regardless of the time or cost involved. Is it the money or the time? Man, I wanted to win my time back. So it's quoted by John McCants. I don't know how well you see that, but that I have, it's all classic, been on my mirror, it's been in my folder, carry it around. Can't lose my folder. It's got my name on it. I go to classes all the time. So I was a foreclosure guy, Jerry. If you guys want to ask questions, you can, but that's
That's
my
it.
story. Okay. I
That's
had a goal, wanted to get somewhere. I didn't like where I was at. How do I do it? I went to a real estate seminar the old fashioned way. And I ended up finding foreclosures. To me,
nice.
motivated sellers were the big deal. Now, do
Nice.
you
So
have
you got
any
it. So,
questions?
so
Go ahead.
you got a chance to use real estate as your vehicle to get you to where you are today and move forward. What are the top three things that you look for when evaluating foreclosure opportunities?
A motivated situation with the people in the house. Motivated or chaos, uncertainty. Someone, a lot of times you can't get both husband and wife or whoever the owners are both to agree. So that situation causes um, causes causes equity to happen. Here's the deal. I could right now much easier get $50,000 worth of equity out of someone in their house. Their house is worth 200, but they only owe 150. They'll sign me over their 150 house, but man, they wouldn't give me 20 bucks out of their pocket. They wouldn't give me the cash. But it's much easier to get 50 to $100,000. I just did it May 2nd of this year. So that's number one is the motivated situation. Two, it's got to be a house or property in an area that I know value. Okay, I want to know. Right now, Apache Junction is a little town. Mesa is where I live. Queen Creek, Santan Valley. It's kind of out here on East Phoenix, but the area, the location of what I'm looking for is the second main thing. And then the third, I look at each project. It's like how much of this sweat, blood, and toil is it going to cause me and my team? Is this a major blower upper, or is this a lipstick on a pig, whatever you want to call that? Is it cosmetic? Is it minor? So I look at the severity of a project based on it's a motivated situation, it's in a great location, and two, is it worth the time, energy, and money to get into this thing and take my team away? So the last project we just closed for about $65,000 profit. My contractor got 7 grand check. I love giving him his bonus. He says, John, I'm going to get a commission on this, aren't I? I go, yep. And he did. And so I acted as my own realtor. I got a $6,000 commission. And I made 67 or $65,000, whatever the number was, in profit. So that worked, right? And the current one I'm on, oh my gosh, we're in the 75 to 100 range right now on this one. I swear
Nice.
I'm
I
gonna probably get an appraiser to appraise this property. I've only done it once, maybe twice. Is it twice? Where I've actually said, you know what? I don't know what the top end is on this. We're always worried, or how low can you go to still make it happen, or how high can you go to make it really happen? So I'm going to pay 300-400 bucks and have someone tell me how far I can push it, because on an acre and a quarter with this property and all that goes with it, there's a good chance I can push it another 25 to 50 grand over what I think it's worth. So anyway,
Mm.
those are the three things in foreclosure for me.
nice.
Yeah. So
Hey John, so a lot of people say they can't find a good deal. They struggling, maybe they're not educated. They don't know how to find good deals. So as far as foreclosures, what's a couple ways where you can actually generate those leads or find those people in foreclosure?
yeah, James. Well, in each one of the cities, as you well know, we were back there. Was it last year, sometime September, October? There's a list. There's the default list, the foreclosure list. Everybody can get it. It's part of the county, or I guess there's counties. What are they called down in Louisiana? They're called something other than a county, either way, there's a list.
Municipal, yeah.
Yeah, in the municipality, it's recorded. It's public information. Comes out on a daily basis, typically, Monday through Friday. It's recorded in the county where the property is located. That's the Bible for foreclosures, if you will. The other is, James, I call it driving for dollars, but there's also you could put out marketing through either pay per lead, you pay per lead, or you pay per click, so you have companies that are out looking for people, websites where they fill out a form saying, "Hey, I'm interested in selling, blah 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 blah. Have someone call me." So that's one way. Or you could do it on your own social media. I do a little bit, but I don't get a lot of traction out of it because I don't focus on it. But you can go out into the internet, or you can have the internet come to you. So the list, pay per lead versus pay per click. That's what I do. I've paid as much as 150 bucks a lead. The one I made $67,000. Her name was Cynthia. Her mom died. She filled out a web form saying she's interested in selling. She wanted to move up to the country, and we got her information, and boom, she wasn't really in foreclosure, but she was behind, big way. So that's the answer basically there, James.
Hey John, you coined the term itself, driving for dollars. So for people that are not probably familiar with that process, what does that process actually look like on the ground, and what makes it so effective?
LaShawn, I learned from Robert Allen way back. I'm a really good student of the game. I have notes, I have books. I mean, I've been taking notes this year. I keep showing you all my stuff. These are my notes from the classes and the places I've been just in the last few weeks. So, way back in the day, Robert Allen said, when you drive home from work, or you drive home from your boyfriend, girlfriends, or the bar, or wherever, sporting event, church, do you drive the same way every time? Not me. I, I'll, yes, but drive different ways, right? So driving for dollars is, imagine you're a roofer. Okay, this is a simple analogy, and you want to get some new business. You don't have any business. You're gonna drive through neighborhoods. What are you looking for? Roofs that need help. So I drive for dollars is literally looking at houses that are. I mean, this is so old-fashioned, cliche, and whatever, but they're overgrown. They have lots of cars. There's problems. Or in this case, there's a little red and white, like the size of a piece of paper, sign that said for sale by owner. One on this corner of the fence and one on this corner of the fence. And he had the writing like this. I had to actually get my phone, take a picture, and then zoom it out to see the numbers. Like this guy wasn't really trying, but he was. And so he was a for sale by owner. He had been hit on by, so I'm answering your question because it is in real time. This is exactly how it happens.
All
Drive
right.
different routes and take down addresses, always taking down addresses and follow up on those properties, see what the situation is. That's the motivated situation Jerry asked about, behind why maybe that house is in chaos, that property's sucky, you know? And so in this case, Lee, old man, 89, he turned 90 while we were making his offer. He just wanted to sell his house and stop working at 90. He's an electrician, just works 3 days a week still. Drives halfway across town in his truck. He wants to pay off his truck. So here's his situation. He has realtors coming after him left and right, wanting to list his home, thinking it's worth 550 as it sat. It wasn't. Probably was worth 500 as it sat. And so I got his motivation. I just want to be able to, and he said it to us, Pam and I, she's here somewhere, but yeah, I just want to be able to enjoy the rest of my life and have some money and pay off my truck, and so, well, Lee, let's figure out what we're gonna do. And so we ended up getting his house for 420. I ran my numbers at 550 with putting 50, well, 40 is on my page, but I think we're gonna hit 50. So 420 purchase, 550 resale, 50 grand carrying costs, all the costs, right? To get there. And then when you sell at 550, there's a sales cost, right? Well, that's very conservative. 575 to 600 is the number I think it's going to be at. Honestly, like I said earlier, I'm buying an appraisal. I'm going to get someone to come out there and tell me that there's a possibility I could sell for six and a quarter to 650. Ka-ching, that's how you make 100 grand. I've only done it a few times. Average house I make has been around 40 grand. And that number's kind of tempered because when I started, the average house was worth 150. Now it's worth 350 or 450. So it's gone up. Like the last house was 65, 67. This one's going to be 75 to 100. I feel it's going to break 100. So driving for dollars really is notice what you notice when you're driving around. Don't be just heading to your location. If you see something that looks questionable, grab an address, get on. There's apps. REI Black Book is a company out of St. Louis. It's got a great system where it's REI Black Book that you can get an app. You guys all know this stuff probably, where you can get in front of the house, take a picture of the darn thing, and it'll bring the county records right up to you, right there on the spot. I had problems with that because it just didn't work for me. Technology and I fight. So James knows that because I go back to Chicago and try to screw up the works behind the scenes. But it's just the way it goes. But you can, any way you can, find out what the info is, skip trace those people, get their name, their address, or emails, call them. And so that's what driving for dollars is. And I've made more money doing that than any other thing other than following the foreclosure list.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
And if you'd
Oh,
like, I can share my screen here if I can. If you would like, guys, to see if I can show you the foreclosure timeline. I think one of the things is I am the foreclosure guy. I will be listening to this class afterwards to make sure I understand it all. But I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you the foreclosure timeline. And James, any of you, Jerry, interrupt me if you want, ask questions or through the chat. Oh gosh.
well, I have a question. You've been doing this since the 90s. You've done multiple deals, and you showed us the notes you were taking. So it sounds like you're still learning. What else out there is are that you're pulling in to learn from? It seems
Bobby,
like you would have all the knowledge already, kind of.
oh, I do. I mean, I'm not being cocky or anything, but yeah, no, I've got so many road miles on me and stuff that I could write a book or two. But it's interesting. Our real estate landscape and strategies change. Lease option,
Mm.
fix and flip, and wholesale and go back into the 60s and 40s and who knows, 100 years ago. People did that stuff. They might have called it something differently. So what has been fascinating to me is a couple things. Three. One is the whole concept of wholesaling, where you tie up a deal and then you have investor pool. Hopefully you have a buyer's list somewhere. Let me just put this foreclosure timeline up. And you have oh wait, I bought it for 440, and I know someone will buy these homes for 475. And at 475, they're going to turn around and fix and flip it at 550. So you wholesale your contract to an end investor. The easiest way to wholesale, what I learned from the class was, is have a huge list of people that want to buy. Go out and find homes, drive for dollars in areas where you know investors want to buy, and then spin it back to them. Okay. So that's one thing I wanted to spend a lot of money and time, and I'm not a very good wholesaler. The last two deals I had, I could have wholesaled for $10,000, $20,000, 25,000 maybe. Well, I made 65,000 on one, and I'm going to make 100 on the other. I'm going to keep it, borrow the money, put my own money in it, get some hard money if I need to, and flip the home. I'm just not going to take $25,000 when I'm broken, man. I'm broken to the point that I'm going to make sure that every little piece of chicken on that bone comes into my plate. And I don't want to give that to someone else. And so wholesaling is cool. Another one is called novation. You got to Google the word and understand what it means. But it's really almost to me like acting like, so I've taken some classes and got the Novation King. His name is Rich. I'll just give names. I don't care. Rich Wonders. He's probably one of the bigger ones that I'm aware of. He buys all over the country. Believe it or not, I didn't qualify to be on his group because I didn't hustle hard enough and I didn't make enough dials for him one day. And I was trying. How do you learn? Hey, you're taking on new people. Let me try. I was gone on day three. I spent hours learning all this stuff. And then he said, man, you only made 33 phone calls. My people make 60 to 100. And I go, well, those were shitty leads, dude. But, I only made so many. But nonetheless, the novation is really a contract like a listing agent has. You want to sell your house, Bobby, okay, I'll list it. You want 400 for it. I think maybe we can get 400 for it. Maybe we can get 450, right? And so the whole idea there is you're, as an agent, trying to get the buyer, seller, their money. Well, let's just say we're negotiating. I'll give you an offer. I'll give you 3.25 cash, 375 if you carry some of the financing, and I'll give you 400 if we do this other route. Well, that other route's called a novation. At the bottom of the end of the day, you said somewhere along the line that you would take $365,000 cash. If I could get, John, I'm not going to take 3.25. I like the 375 number, but I don't want to be carrying financing for the next year or two on part of it, like half down and half, over time. So I'll take the 365. All right. So I sign up an agreement. A novation is just an agreement that I have the right to list your home for you and act as a real estate agent to bring in another buyer that I think I can get for 4.25. And so at the end of the day, I have a contract with you that I'm going to have transferred over between me and you to between you and them, if you will. I'm trying to get this down. It's early out here. More coffee. And so if this is complicated, that's cool because when it's complicated, not too many people are going to do it. And I'm still wanting to do it, but everything seems to fall over. John just buys a house and flips it or keeps it. So the novation deal is really kind of interesting, and I'm learning on that and still aware of it. I like to give people three options when I make an offer. Cash, it's low. You don't want that. Once in a while, you might take it. In between is if there's some equity in the home. And that's actually, Jared, answered one of your questions about the three things I look for in foreclosure. There's got to be some meat left on the bone above the mortgage. If there's not, between the mortgage and what's retail, if there's not enough equity there where I can give you some money and I can make some hay on it, then we got to go move on. Unless we can take over the mortgage and do seller financing, which, the company Renatus teaches all of these with people that are specialists in each and every single area. So I take classes at Renatus a lot, but I also take specialty classes outside it. And lo and behold, every once in a while, one of those specialty classes becomes a class. But so the novation thing is really cool because I can go out and tell you, listen, I'm going to take care of the problem. I'm going to get this done. I need 60 to 90 days to get you your 365. I'll get it for you. You're going to get 365. No, not a dime less. I'll pay all the closing costs, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go out and find another buyer, just like a listing agent would be. But the responsibility is for me to show your home, for me to do the deal. And then when it comes down to escrow closing, we're going to remove my agreement with you, replace it with this new one, and you're going to sell to these people. But you already know you're getting 365, and you already know I'm trying to get more than 365. Whether I get 1,000 or I get $1 million more, that don't matter to you because you and I already agreed that you wanted 360 stinking five. So those are
Right.
some of the things I've learned. Okay.
So with that said, will you let the people know they may not know what classes do you teach within the Renatus curriculum?
Well, I teach one. It's called the foreclosure auctions class. They call it the auctions class, but it's primarily bank, like LaShawn started out saying, bank foreclosures. So it's called a trustee sale in parts of the country, certain states because of the laws, or it's called a sheriff sale in other, like back in Chicago, that's what it's called. And so what that is, and let's just go through it here real quickly since we got this up. In foreclosure with the bank, you can see my little icon on the payment due there. Your monthly payment usually is due on the 1st, the 5th, the 10th, or the 15th. When you sign a mortgage, you pick typically, I don't know how it's done these days. I haven't signed too many mortgages, but usually you pick your day. Let's call it the 5th of the month. And you get going, and all of a sudden you get late. Back at one time during my career, people were behind by fifth. Well, this is back in the crash 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, depending upon what part of the country where it crashed different times. I know in July of 2007, things changed. Like, holy crap, these houses are sitting longer, things are happening, aren't happening. What's going on? I know, Phoenix is dying, Detroit was dying, different places were dying, and I was out in Seattle, but I noticed it. And so 15 months, the banks knew people were behind on their mortgages. So before they would file foreclosure, so they have nasty letters, late notices for 15 months, and then all of a sudden, right here, they file a default called a lis pendens or a notice of sale, however you want to do it from your area. You should research what the take back laws. Here's another point. What are the take back laws, you know, for collateral, home? Like it's like getting your car repoed, right? Your house is going to get repoed. What does it take for a borrower to lose their home, and what does the bank have to do? Also, you should know what the eviction laws are. If you're going to rent out homes, you need to know who the sheriff is. Is it them or is it you? In Arizona, it's a little bit easier to be the owner. In some parts of the country, like Washington State right now, I don't know what has happened up there politically or whatever, but you don't even want to own homes. I had 17 at one point. It'd be a nightmare. The tenant is the sheriff, not us. But they're my house. They're a squatter. Get them out. No, you can't do that, sir. They have rights. Right. Their right is to pay me my rent, take care of my house, and get out when I want them out in a reasonable time based on what's in the damn contract, not what some politician wants to think that is the right thing to do. So anyway, foreclosure, this way you should understand it, is that once default starts, they give you a 30-day period. Okay, right now on average in Phoenix, since I'm following the foreclosures, people are behind 4 to 6 months. Nasty letters, notice is filed, 6 months, let's call it. In 30 days, they can file a sale. Now, some like Colorado, Texas, I think it's called a 20-day state. They can say, hey, you're behind by 6 months. We gave you 30 days to bring it current. You didn't. We can sell your house in 20 days. Most parts of the country, it's a 90-day period of time, way out here. So, sheriff sale, trustee sale. You're now, that's the list that James asked about. What are the ways to find them? That's the foreclosure list. And so it just keeps trucking along. And so I say buy from owners here because a lot of the doors, LaShawn, that I knock on or talk to people, they're in foreclosure or maybe in foreclosure. They're 60, 90 days late. That's another list that I got, and I'm not doing a lot with it yet, but I want to find from your title company, find from a lender or somebody how you can get. I see as I teach and talk to you guys, I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and so you should do some of those things. Find out who is behind 60 to 90 days on their mortgage payments and call them. What do you say? I don't know. Say anything you want. I'm just, I want to buy a house in this area. I noticed you guys had a house interested in selling, whatever, or hey, we're calling people that might want to have a lower interest rate and keep up on their payments. They're behind. You can't really let them know at that point. But in other words, call the people that are behind but aren't yet under notice of sale where it's public information. That's what driving for dollars is. That's what maybe calling on the late list is. And so foreclosure just keeps plugging along. When I started, and this is where I really learned a lot from Renatus, I went to one of their foreclosure classes with a guy named Rick Rickert. And he said, man, all you guys are sending out letters and door knockers and door hangers. And I used to send out what's called lumpy mail. You know that gum, it's an extra gum. Say, hey, you want some extra help? I can help you with the mortgage. Your house is worth a million, or is it 100 grand? Bar those little tiny, so send them out. And the post office finally stopped us from doing it because it didn't go through the machines, and we got in trouble. And I think they
Oh,
just got free candy or whatever. So in the beginning, there's thousands of people that are starting the process. Rick said, not too many of you are down here. Okay, first base, second base, third base in baseball, if you will, home plate. Not too many of you are just waiting to the end and door knocking on the homes that are going to go to sale next Friday. Every Friday in like Arizona, well, no, Arizona's 5 days a week, but Washington and California, it's once a week. In your area, I know at some places it's once a month. I think it's every Tuesday, Cook County or Kane County, whichever one it was, but DuPage County, I forget. But anyway,
How
now I'm starting to
important,
lose train of
John?
thought. But Rick,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
no. So Rick said, check the foreclosures at the end. Figure, don't deal with all these people, but the ones that can't crack the code, don't sell, refi, or do anything, because there's going to be a fair amount of them, are going to go to the auction. And that's when I said, okay, I'm tired of knocking on and mailing to thousands. I want to talk to dozens. And so I started knocking on the door on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for houses going to sale on Friday versus knocking on the door for homes going to sale theoretically 3 months from now. The door knock there was totally different than the door knock up front. Up front, I was trying to become their friend, schmooze them, talk with them, get to, match and mirror them and gain rapport, try to become, a resource. And I was competing against real estate agents, but I was an investor. Well, at the end, it's like, you know what, you guys, I can't believe it. This house is going to sell. The bank's nasty. So now I played like, good cop, bad cop. I said, yeah, we buy houses and we've seen you guys in foreclosure for a while. And the bank's selling your house Friday. You know that. I need to take a look at it. Maybe we can find a way to stop this for you. If not, if I'm lucky to buy it from the bank and you're not going to stop it, at least you know who's going to buy it. And I can be the one, that comes out to you and said, hey, you get a few more days or weeks to stay in your home, but you lost it to the bank or a third party, an investor like me. So, what you need to know in foreclosure is what's the process that people have to lose their homes, or what's the process that banks have to take homes back, and what are their options? These people borrow money from family or friends, borrow hard money. Because if you're behind 60 days, are you going to go get a refi? No, you're going to have to pay for high interest type loans to, hard money is what it's called. You can sell your house quickly. I'm trying to look at my screen here and go to foreclosure or lose your property, or you can claim there's a problem with it. So that right there is my flyer that I go to the doors with. And I hand it to them and said, where are you at in the foreclosure timeline? Are you aware of what's at? And so I'm going to tell you one thing here. What I used to do and what I do now. In the past, I would go to every class that came along and I would try to learn everything I could, and then I would keep doing what I do. Renatus came along, and that was one of the classes I knowingly just went to learn real estate. And they had all of these classes in one section. Get this, at that time, they had 19 instructors teaching 37 classes. Guys, how many classes did they have now? 42 instructors and 97 classes? Something like that. I don't know if you guys know the number. You should. I think that's the number. They keep adding. They just added Bill Prudhomm's Build from the Ground Up. He's here in Phoenix. He's building homes on mansions on hills, and there are a few hills in Phoenix. It's usually pretty flat, but they add all these classes, and so I saw Renatus, and I went, no longer do I have to chase after. Is that person up front teaching me or selling me a class? Is it not? Because you can't always tell. It's like, you know what? I heard all that stuff. I bought your $2,000 class, and then that's not the way it went. You sold me. Well, Renatus, they had all of it under one roof. You had a test drive. You could try it out for a week, and it's like, well, let's do that. And so I did that. And so the difference is that I learned from people that were actually doing what they taught, not out there selling us stuff, which is fine. I'm probably the most gullible buyer in the world. I have books and shelves of stuff, and it's all valuable. But when it all came from one source and we all looked at each other in the eye and said, yeah, I'm here this year, I'm still here. 10 years later doing the same damn thing. I think you should listen to what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And maybe like today, I'm not even doing foreclosures, guys. I'm not doing foreclosure auctions. I am your teacher, but I'm not doing it. And I told Bob Snyder, this is how cool this guy is. I said, Bob, I feel funny. You want me to re-record my class? I haven't bought a foreclosure auction. I've bought foreclosures, but I haven't bought an auction house this year. And I explained why, because the market is just so overpopulated with money at the courthouse steps right now that it's just no good deals. And he goes, all right, John, well, I appreciate that. But at the same time, what happens um, in a year or two when all of a sudden foreclosures get crazy and the auctions are back? What are you going to do then? Well, I'm going right back to the courthouse steps and buying houses. He goes, good, because I want you to be my auctions instructor. You're the dude. And so in the meantime, what am I doing? I'm doing pre-foreclosures. I don't teach that class. I just did kind of, but there's a lot to it. We're doing wholesaling, this innovation, any way I could drive in for dollars. It's not a new term, it's just the term. And so anyway, the cool part about Renatus was is that they didn't have you go out and go find a real estate association. Every city has their organization you can go to. You can go take the classes and you'll get. I was there 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday and listened to them speak here in Phoenix. That's fine. It's not Renatus. It's just who came in as a guest speaker, like I am. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just talking to you and teaching, and trying to show you, some real juice from the streets on the Juice Show. But Renatus said it's a little different. Said, you know what? We want you to do is find other people, collaborate with them, get in groups, study groups, or whatever you want on the classes that you like. Start with the basics, get the essentials down, get what it's actually called a suite of classes. It's the basics. Not go learn the strategy first. I don't need to know how to wholesale if I don't know how to do my credit, how to borrow money, how to reduce my debt. If I don't know some of the stuff, what the heck am I out there going out trying to find a discount? Or taxes. I don't need to know how to deal with my taxes, right? So Ron said, we're going to get you the basics, and real quickly, we're going to move you up to an advanced strategy called Advanced Investor Training, AIT. And so they said, then once that happens, what we want you to do is go create your own real estate group in your own area, i.e., what you guys are doing, and now become the nucleus of learning, become the nucleus of sharing money, tips, techniques, strategies from what you're learning from people that are in the game. So once that happened, that's when I went over and made it to the auctions, and that's when Bob Snyder called me, and the whole thing changed. I still go to seminars, I still go to classes, but the bulk of my knowledge base, my encyclopedia is within the online courses that Renatus offers, and they're updated. I've recorded mine a couple times. Only thing that changes in my class now is me because I'm 5 years older, but class is always the same because it
Hey
hasn't changed.
John. Hey, so
Yo,
John,
sir.
so somebody, because I know they probably want to come out with the announcements real soon, but one of my last questions is, for somebody brand new who just getting started with not that much resources, like, what's some things should they have or should they know, in order to do the real estate investing business, or what some resources or something they should have?
Well, I think the biggest resource, James, is your motivation and your drive. Why are you doing this? Okay, I mean, that's not answering their question, but that is actually the answer to their question. The second thing is if you want to get into real estate, you're going to need to understand how to evaluate property. But more importantly, if you don't have the resource, so God, there's so many answers to that one. If you don't have the resources now, what's your weakest link? Well, it's either the combination of knowledge or not having money. So what you need to do, and what I did, one of the first things I did, I guess I'll answer the question this way. I went to that seminar, quit my job. I kind of set myself up. What can't you get when you quit your job if you're in real estate? You can't get a loan. So I had to go door knocking and ask people for money. And so I finally found an investor, a Korean importer exporter downtown in Seattle. And I showed him this little pro forma on the house. I said, if I could find some of these homes, because I went up and down the building and talked to different people that I knew in the insurance business. And this is the answer to the person's question in a way. It is. Because once I found the money, now I could pay for a few more classes. Say, hey, dude, we're in business together. I'm going to smart myself up. I'm going to partner up with some people. So some of this money we're going to put into your real estate, but some of it we could put into me becoming smarter and better. And if you want, there is a program out there called Renatus where you can be my partner and you can take some of the classes along with me, whether you want to or not. But if you really want to check out my integrity and check out what we're doing and dial down and come up with some really good questions, this is where it would be. So if I were new, I would put out a goal of what I wanted to achieve and make it much bigger than what you think. Like no 10 houses, no $1 million, much bigger. I would learn a strategy in my area that I feel like I like, whether it's fix and flip or buying a rental house or learning to wholesale. It's the most time consuming way to do stuff, but it's the least money out of pocket. So you don't have to have a lot of down payment, blah, blah, blah. It just takes a while to find the houses. And once you find the house, now you got to find the investor. So asking for money and partnering up, your world will change if you also you had some Korean gentleman that said, John, I have $1 million. Go find houses that meet these criteria. And I just use his example as a Korean guy because that's what he was. He could have been anybody, right? Didn't matter who he was. It's just he was a real cool guy. He was a businessman and he knew what I was talking about. He saw my motivation. See, he felt it. Go, this guy's going somewhere. He wants to do something. I can tell it. So that's the answer to the question, James. Really, without
I love
repeating.
that. I love that, John. One thing I've heard a few different instructors give their um, give their analogy or their idea of what Renatus is. And I love how you articulate it. Every single time you articulate it in a way that it seems like more of the people who aren't the Scott Rolls and the big people of the community, right? It gives that feel of, hey, I'm starting way down here, but you kind of put it in perspective of where's like me, little old Jerry, can actually do a few of these deals and kind of catch up to you, right, so to speak. So I like how you always articulate the education and the platform, and you are a big part of that, right? So I thank you for that. We gonna actually, I see we do got some questions in the chat. We do got some online. I see you questions online, Yolanda. So we gonna get to those questions right now. But Bobby gonna do the announcements right now. So if we do got some new people online, they can find out how to get John's class. And John, if you could put your book in the chat if you want to share your book with these guys.
Okay, I'll try.
And to quickly add on to what John said, I think also it'd be good if you guys can get access. You got Wi-Fi in the computer. I think that would help you. A laptop would really help you run your business really well.
All right, guys.
Oh, we didn't show John's class that he picked. He picked three
I'm not.
classes
I'm
today.
not. Am I still screen sharing with you guys?
No,
Oh
his
no, you're
no.
fine.
Bobby got it. Yeah, Bobby
Okay.
got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Good. Hey, I'm not sure I can get my book thing in the chat, but I'll try. You guys go about. Really, I want to say something what Jerry just said, and I know you guys are going to explain some of the what's on the schedule and how people can get connected. But the whole idea with Renatus, what I feel like is like the senior partner is working with the junior partner who's working with the apprentice. And the apprentice is going to come in and learn from people along the line, and we're all going to be working together to achieve that goal. And you're moving up through the ranks as you learn and do deals. And so it's just a great feeling because we give a lot to those junior and newer people. And you know what? Every time I've said this before in front of a lot of the classes, when I go live around the country to teach the class and give you a sample of it, how motivated do you think I feel when I go home from Chicago and seeing 100 people in the room and I'm teaching them all day? And they're coming up and they want this, they want that, they want to do all this stuff. Man, I can't go home from there any less motivated than any of them. I come home and I rock it more here than I would have if not being there. So, and I'm the senior guy in the room because I'm in front of them talking. So, love the fact that the younger, the more newer spirit can help the more senior people do more. And I'll tell you, there's a lot to be done out there in real estate. And I think it's a team game, not an individual game.
What is the title of your book, John?
Well, it's on my. I can't get anywhere. I'll email it to you guys somehow, or I mean, I'll get knocked off the screen here if I don't watch myself.
Oh no,
No,
you're fine.
don't worry
We'll
about it.
circle back. Yeah, we'll
I'll
circle
find it.
back.
I'll find it. Don't worry.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So right quick, I'll go through the schedule or go through the scheduling, and then we can get to the the questions asked. So, all right, give it up for Mr. John McCants. This is powerful. All the jewels being dropped. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, so every Sunday, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Juice Show podcast. What you're seeing right now, this is what we do. This is your first time here. We'd love to have you back. Just getting information from different individuals and gaining knowledge and sharing it with people and helping them understand how the community works. All right, coming up. If you want to see where we got all this information, we got our very own Mr. Jerry Ruffin to the introduction to real estate investing. All right. So he's going to go through, who we are as Renatas in the community, what you can learn, what you're looking to do, and see how we can help you achieve them goals. All right. Make the call. This is postponed, so we're going to keep it moving, but every other Sunday at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. If you want to make the calls, just like what he said, get on the phone, see who is looking to sell, how can you help other individuals, and just connect with people. So this is make the call, but this Sunday's postponed, but definitely check back with us. All right, all right. And we got locating leads today at 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, locating leads with our very own Taj. If you're looking for properties, he's going to go through different ways you can find properties, whether it be Facebook Marketplace or other sites that he has access to show you how to find leads on properties. So if you're looking to find the properties, this is where you want to be today. All right, locating leads. All right, and coming up also 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, we have the Real Estate Mastermind. This is where you come analyze the deals. So this is part of the process on how you found it, how you funded it, what strategies are you going to do. This is going through how you analyze the properties, getting the numbers right, make sure everything is in the up and up so you don't lose money. And it's a group of investors helping you to come up with these analysis. So definitely check us out today on the Real Estate Mastermind, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. Get with the person who invited you, and possibly, if you're lucky enough, if you had enough exposure, we can get you to this here so you can get further information on how we work together and come together. All right. And the Juice Show Facebook page, make sure you like, follow, and leave a review. If you are on Facebook, please check us out. Please like what we're doing. Please add us as friends so we can get you this information. If you came to this podcast late, if you came to the show late, it will be right up as soon as we get done. All right. So you can come here and check us out. If you have any questions or any suggestions on who we should have on next, or just simply go back and check out our past podcasts, this is the place where you want to do it. Sound good? All right. I know you guys know how to do work on Facebook. And right now, right quick, we got deals of the community. Community, community, community. This is where we celebrate you and the deals of the community, of the people actually taking action in the community and what we're doing. And we love to celebrate you. So if you have deals out there, please let us know so we can get your name up here in bright lights. We want to celebrate you and congratulate you on everything that you've been doing, taking action and making things happen. So we just would like to honor you and just keep it going. And we just want to encourage everybody just to keep it going. I see John McCants right there. All right, with a nice little Arizona fix and flip. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. So we appreciate you. We'll get back to the questions, and you guys take it away.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, LaShawn. What you
All
got? You got
right.
some in the chat.
Yes. So, one of the questions was, do you act as an agent when doing innovation?
No, the best thing if you are an agent, no, you don't want to be the agent. You want to hire another agent to list the home for the buyer, and then you'll work it. If you're an investor, you're going to hire an agent. You're going to be the buyer. You're going to get the right from the seller, the owner, to list their home and achieve a higher offer than what you're going to pay them. So it would be kind of like being in a divorce and having the same divorce attorney for both husband and wife. So no, you don't want to be the agent in innovation. You want to hire one, even if
Okay.
you
And
even if you are an agent.
okay. And then that was the other
But
question
that's
too.
my
If not,
opinion, and that's what I've learned. But I don't know. You might try it, but I'd rather stay out of jail. Yeah.
Okay. And that was the other part of that question too, is if not, then what is the best way to structure it? So thank you for explaining that as well. Um, and then this person says they apologize if you said this already and I missed it. But with novation, do you replace an agent or is it only works if the person doesn't have an agent? So I know it's somewhat of a duplicate, but they're asking, if the person doesn't have an agent, then what would they do?
Well, I think it is sort of the same situation. I don't know that it really
Okay.
matters too much who the agent is, but I think you want to control the game. I'm just thinking of that question. If they come at me and say, "Hey, I want to use my real estate agent," why wouldn't their real estate agent want to just list the house and get the higher number and make commission off of all that and get them more? So you've got to control the situation and come to grips with the owner that they want that 365 and you're going to go out and try to get 425, but they don't have the time, energy, money, and whatever resources to get the house cleaned up. Because in reality, I'm going to put a little bit of TLC and a little bit of fix up in that house to make it get that number. I'm not going to put a lot in it because what if it fails? So you're going to put some money, potentially a little bit, to make that house sellable to get the number. So I would rather say find another agent, and don't let the seller control that.
Okay. Another question is, how did you gain the courage and confidence to ask for money when you weren't really sure how to do deals and and afraid that you may lose the money that you borrowed?
Going right to the heart with that one, aren't you? Man, you know what? I went to a class. I got a pro forma. This is what I could buy a house for. This is what I can sell it for. I've learned from my partners and some people. And here's a list of a couple contractors. Here's a list of my banker, for the mortgages. Here's the players of the game, a little list of people. And here's two or three examples of what some of the investors in my group, I didn't say I don't do this, I haven't done it. If they ask me, I said, no, this is my first one as principal, but I'm working alongside these other people. So you got to act as if you're doing it. You're not lying. You're not saying you're doing more than you're doing, but you're basically coming up with here is a reasonable assumption that we're going to make money. I see other people doing it. Here's what I got set up. Do you want to play ball? Do you want to try one? Do you want to look at it? That's what I did. And guys, you got to have the assumption mindset. Most people think real estate is it. They want to do some real estate. They don't know how and they don't know who to do it with. Here I am. I've learned how. I got people around me, and you want to do it with me. You just don't know it yet. And no, I'm Billy Joe Jim Bob, a guy that don't know nothing about real estate too much, but I'm gonna own $1 million worth of real estate in the next few years. How many do you want to own? You gotta have some mucks. You gotta get your game. Even if you don't know how to get in the game yet, just get in.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Any more questions over there?
No, go right ahead, Jerry.
All right, we got one question. What's the name? Before I get to that, I wanted to share that your book is in the chat. We put it in the chat. What they gonna learn from that book, John?
Well, they're going to learn a lot about foreclosures. There's one about how to sell your house for more. Basically, it's a real estate agent's perspective on how to get the most out of your money, most out of your house. But the foreclosure one is just from A to Z. It's got a lot of just the meat and potatoes of what a foreclosure is and how to as an owner or a person losing a grip of the financial rope of their life, how to navigate that path. And you can pick which path they go down and how you're helping them. So it it really is a roadmap on what the options are for those people facing foreclosure.
Awesome. So the question that Yolanda had was, I didn't realize that they can borrow hard money. Does a lender use the home as collateral?
Yes, and yeah, it's harder to borrow hard money when you're behind on your payments, but if the home has equity, Yolanda, your hard money lenders, the ones that are going to charge you 10, 12, 14% or more, 18, the most I'm paying is 14%. But 10 or 12, I like to pay 7%, so that's what I borrow most of my friendly money at. But long as there's equity, the hard money lenders are going to go above about 70 cents on the dollar. So if that house is worth 300, they're not going to lend you more than what 70%, 210. So if you don't have, if there's not enough room to do that, then you're only going to be able to get up to about 70% of what the house is worth from a hard money lender. Even if your credit and all is not good. They will verify your job. They will this and that. Great. But the real loan is based on the equity in the home. Primarily, that's it. And then the other compensating factors, your job history, your credit, and all that, um, co-signers can help you get better terms, maybe better interest rate, that kind of stuff.
Sweet. And then the last thing before you go, John, because you sound like a real true student of the game. Although you are an instructor, you are a student of the game. We asked you to choose three of the classes inside of the curriculum that you felt were a game changer in your world. Now we put yours up because we could not think of what the other class you chose.
Yeah.
So you talk about
Man,
these three if you
Gary,
could.
I answered this question for you. You got to take better notes, my friend. I'm just teasing. No, you're good. I know you're yeah. Okay, you already can tell that mindset and who you are, what you want to do, who you want to be is really critical. So, a class called your investor ID, who you are, not only who I am, but I'm dealing with people out there in the city that are people that are Walmart people. There's Nordstrom peoples, and then what's the next thing after that? So I got to be able to match my moxie to whoever's there. So my investor ID is what am I buying? Who am I buying from? Blah blah blah. Okay. The other two are the velocity banking concept. The whole idea, the money question that came up earlier about, if you're, I think James asked it, what would you do to get going? How would you do it if you didn't know anything? You'd find money. So velocity banking is a concept that I did and I didn't even know. I could have been the instructor, but I had 8 loans on homes and paid on off homes and ended up using my houses as banks to buy more real estate. So investor ID, velocity banking, and the last one is not just one class, but it's a dude named Chris Wilson. He teaches lease option, he teaches wholesaling, and I don't know what his other class is. He has 3 or 4 classes in there, but the main thing that I got from this guy was his mindset. He's going to take the world on. He's got 3 TV screens in his house. He's watching all the news and all the crap, and when it's all done, he shuts it off and he goes out into the world and he slays dragons. And so, whether it's a lease option or a wholesale, obviously, I like foreclosures motivated situations. But Jerry, that's my answer. It's
Perfect.
it's
That
it's
was
that
James
simple. And
taking notes.
there's
That
a
was James.
dozens of
That well, let
so
me get
many.
in. Let me ask John a question before we depart. So, people who maybe have a fear around real estate investing or foreclosures and auctions, what would be some words of encouragement would you give somebody who want to get started but just kind of been held back, but through fear?
So say it one more time, James, and I'll answer your question. In a nutshell, what are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking like, what words of encouragement would you give someone who's kind of held back by fear, who want to do real estate, want to do auctions and foreclosures?
Well, okay, yeah, I'll be real quick. What if you don't do it? If you don't do this, and you go back to doing what you're going to do right now, then just turn that ship around. This is a bad answer, maybe, but it's not. Um, that's a double negative right there. If you, for some reason, feel like it's not going to happen in real estate, or you can't, or you're afraid, then go back and be the best damn employee you can. Get to work early, stay late, give up your vacations, and work your tail off at what you're already doing. If that's not who you are, and that's not what you want to be, and that makes you angry and hungry or angry or whatever, going to work, coming home, then get into real estate around somebody at any level that you can. Be their their little their what are on the shoulder, right? So read some books, take some classes, go to everything these guys on the Juice Show put up on the screen. Be there. I have been to so many classes and things. It's going on all the time. My wife goes, "Who you listen to now?" I don't know, but I tell you, they're going to say something I'm going to like, and I'm going to use. And take notes. Okay, they say if you listen to something, this is answering your question, whoever asked it, James. If you listen to something, you retain so much. If you write notes, you retain so much more. Okay, at the end of the day, I take my notes and I retype my notes and put them in my stinking dang computer. Now I've retained it, and so hang around people that are doing what you want to do, is what they say, and then be there, show up. Because if not, then go back to what you're doing today. And man, I tell you, there's no reason you need to take lunch hour. Just work straight right through that sucker. And if you don't like that, then get into real estate, man, and do a deal, half a deal, be part of a deal, and learn from someone that's up the food chain, like Jerry said earlier, the advanced or intermediate person that wants just what you want. Be around
Hey
people that you
man,
want.
that was powerful. That was so powerful. If you don't, hey, if you like that, go right ahead. Get that job. Be the best at that job you could be. Oh my God, that is perfect way of saying that, man. Perfect way to end this thing, John. I appreciate you coming on, sharing with the crew, man. Like I said, we will definitely have you back around. We was just trying to get you in that 100 spot. Like we on off working on our 100th episode. So appreciate you for coming and showing up, showing out, doing what you do. Hopefully you'll see some new students grabbing your class and doing their thing, right? Get his book, y'all. Y'all got it. Thank you so much for coming on the Juice Show and helping us out. Thank you.
Thanks for
Wow.
asking. You guys have a good Sunday. I'll sign out, and always good to be around people that are.
John,
Hold
before
on,
you
wait 1 second,
disappear,
John.
wait,
Yo,
John, before you disappear, wow, what an episode. I mean, big thanks to you, John, for dropping some serious gems today. From navigating us from foreclosure to a pro to creating real win-win situations and solutions for sellers. Thank you so much. Definitely want to have you back because we definitely have more people that want to ask you questions. But guys, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, John, for sharing your story. We really appreciate it. You like LaShawn said, you dropped a lot of gems. I'm excited about going back and watching this a few times. And like I love seeing you when you come out to Chicago and you help the big community take us out door knocking and showing people the process that you take and how you've been successful over the years. But so thank you for sharing your story and making your appearance on the Juice Show podcast. We loved having you.
it's
Hey,
an
Bobby,
honor.
before you jump in there, I just wanted to say John gave us a masterclass in how to succeed in real estate the smart way. So pick up what he's putting down. Back to you guys.
All right. No, give it up. What I'm doing right now, I'm getting his free copy of his book. Make sure you guys, if you want his book, it is in the chat. Get the link. Or a matter of fact, if you don't have it, we'll find a way to get it to you, post it up for you, so we can get that in your hands. And I got some more questions, but since we're gonna wrap it up, we'd love to have you back, John. Learned so much. I did take your class way back when. It wasn't my investor ID. I was just excited to learn everything about real estate investing. I got friends who want to do auctions, and the ones that can't make it, I would definitely share this podcast with them and the book as well. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate your wealth of knowledge, and we don't take it for granted. And like you said, we'd love to have you back. So with that said, just to give your Sundays back, we appreciate each and every one of you showing up, showing out. Definitely bring friends. Definitely tell your friends about us. Put up Facebook posts, and let's continue
Hey
growing.
Bobby. Hey Bobby, on the count of three, everybody say it.
Okay, on the count of three, you guys already know what it is. 1, 2, 3. You
You
have
You
have
have
the
it.
juice.
You.
closed.
Have a
All
good
right.
Sunday,
Juice.
everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. Have a
Thank you,
great weekend.
John.